All right, thank you for joining me. We are going to do a short mobility session. I know typically the classes are yoga-related classes. However, mobility classes, in a similar way to yoga, we want to incorporate our mind-body awareness. So for today's session, we're going to go through just a little joint-by-joint mobility and warming up those joints. I know, as you can see, most of us are at home, of course. So even at home, we can find ourselves in bad posture, leaning over, typing at the computer, just not paying attention to that posture. At the end of the day, we might be feeling a little tired in the shoulders, a little tight in the hips, in the lower back, maybe even the legs. So this mobility class is going to be for that, and we are going to incorporate that mindfulness aspect that comes in with the yoga classes. So you can see that I am seated here on the floor. You don't have to be seated on the floor. You could also be seated in the chair for an initial part of this. You can even be standing if you'd like. So just so that you can see my whole body, we're going to scoot back just a little bit. All right, so again, just find a comfortable seated position. And before we get started, let's also bring in that mindfulness practice. So finding a comfortable position, allow your spine to sit upright, and that could be standing in a chair or on the floor. But sitting up nice and tall, we're going to close our eyes and just bring awareness to your breath. All right, so that could be the surface of the nose, feeling the air go in and out of the nostrils. Right, if you have a little sinus thing going on, you need to breathe through your mouth, and that's fine. Just be observant of the sensations going in your nose or your mouth. And take a few breaths. Just be aware of what sensations occur. If you're breathing in, you might feel coolness, right? The air might have a cooler quality to when you exhale. And then notice the type of breath, right? Are you breathing shallow? Do you feel the breath up here in the top part of the collarbone, the upper part of the chest? Or do we feel the ribs expanding out to the sides? Or maybe even we feel the abdomen move. So noticing where the breath is. The top of the chest, the ribs, the diaphragm, or here in the abdomen. And then let's try to encourage a very slow and rhythmic breathing now. So as you breathe in, allow the belly to expand out. Let the chest rise until your inhale fully comes up here into the collarbone. Right, and then as you exhale, breathing out from the collarbone, letting the sides of the ribs come in, and then using the stomach to finally push all that air out. So nice slow breath in from the abdomen, sides of the ribs, and then up to the collarbone. Exhaling that out. Inhaling. And exhaling. So continue that way. Nice slow breath in. And slow breath out. You can see I'm breathing through my nose. So again, if you need to breathe through your mouth, that's totally fine. Just nice, slow, rhythmic breathing. Try to encourage, if you can, through the nose though. All right, so following that breath, we're going to start going through a little bit of a joint-by-joint approach here, going into the head, the neck, into the shoulders, into the spine, to the hips, the knees, the ankles, the legs, all right? So finding a comfortable position. Again, you can be standing or in a chair for this, but we're going to sit up nice and tall. Allow your chin as you exhale to come down to the center of the chest. All right, so sitting up tall, chin comes down to the center of the chest. Now, as you inhale, rock your right ear over to the right shoulder. And you can let the head tilt back if you'd like, but then exhale, bring yourself back down. Good. So inhale, come over to the left side. Good. And then exhale, come back down. So we're just doing semicircles. You're inhaling ear to shoulder, exhaling chin to chest. Inhaling ear to shoulder, and exhaling chin to chest. All right, we're going to do a few more each side to get about 5 to 10 repetitions. All right, so go at your own pace. Inhaling ear to shoulder, exhaling chin to chest. Inhaling ear to shoulder, and exhaling chin to chest. All right, just a couple more. Good, inhale, last time, big breath in, and we'll exhale, bring the chin to the chest. All right, now keeping your hands on your knees, again, you can be standing. So in this case, for standing, you can just have your hands on your hips or alongside your body. All right, if you're seated in a chair on the floor like me, you're gonna have your hands on your knees. So what we're gonna do here now, we're gonna inhale, roll the shoulders back and look up with the chin. And then as you exhale, bring the chin down and just a little slouch. So we're working in the front and the back of the neck here. So we're inhaling, rolling the shoulders back, looking up with our chin. Exhaling, bring the chin down, just a little slouch with the upper back. Inhale, shoulders roll back, chin looks up. Exhale, chin to chest, and shoulders slouch just a little bit. All right, so follow your own pace. You're inhaling, opening the chest, opening the throat, really trying to elongate our neck here. You should feel like your throat is getting a stretch, pointing that chin straight up. Now as you exhale and bring that chin down, try to get some rounding here in the back of the neck, right? Really burying that chin into your chest, okay? So inhaling, lifting, and exhaling down. Good, do a couple more, big breath in, and big breath out. One more time, inhaling, and exhaling. Good, return to a neutral position with your gaze. Right now we're going to go side to side with our head. Now some folks, you might want to, if you want to, you can use your hand and just help the ear to the shoulder. You don't have to do that, we can just go to side. All right, and that's what I'm going to do. So follow my lead, we're inhaling, we're sitting up nice and tall, and as we exhale, we're going to bring an ear to the shoulder, just letting that side of the neck get some nice stretch and mobility. So inhale back on up, and we're going to exhale, go to the other side. All right, inhale back up and exhale to the side. So if you are feeling stiff whenever you're trying this out, you can stay on one side just using maybe that hand to keep the ear down, just breathing a few times into that side of the neck. All right, and then of course if you do one side, make sure that you do the other, at least equal length so that we're balancing out the body. And then another thing that you can do in this, as we're going side to side, is really trying to reach through the fingertips, getting those arms and those shoulders down. So pushing the fingertips into the floor, right, going side to side might feel very nice. So when we engage the musculature here in the neck, it's going to cause more of a stretch here in the side. Good. So do one more each side, inhaling. Exhaling, maybe one more time, inhale, good, and exhale. Awesome, come back to a neutral position. All right, and now we're gonna turn our head side to side. And there's nothing complicated about that, just try to keep your spine upright. So we're gonna inhale, sit up nice and tall, and as you exhale, look over a shoulder. So I'm turning to my left, and then as you inhale, come back to the front. Exhale, go over to the opposite side. Good, so inhaling into the center, exhaling. All right, and so we want to bring that awareness into our bodies, right? So we are aware of our breath, controlling our inhale and exhale. And as we're going through these movements, we just want to be aware of what sort of limits or range of motion that we have in each joint. Now, all of us are going to be a little bit different in our bodies. So there's no need to judge yourself or compare yourself with others because we all are unique. Good. So do one more over here to our left, my left, and then we'll do one more to the opposite side, to my right. Exhaling, turning the chin. Good. Inhale, bring yourself back forwards. Now we're going to work into some shoulder mobility. All right, so taking your arms out to the sides, just bend your elbows so that you can use your fingertips to lightly touch the shoulders. And we're going to sit up nice and tall. All right, elbows are out to the sides as you can see. All right, now as you're inhaling, we're going to try to open the chest as much as we can. So inhale, open the chest. Let's bring those elbows up. And as we exhale, bring the elbows forwards and down. We're going to slouch a little bit here too, and I'll turn to the side so that you can see. All right, so sitting up nice and tall, we're inhaling, bringing those shoulders back, opening the chest, bringing our elbows up. Exhaling, elbows forward and slouching. So imagine maybe you're in a pool and you're trying to do, I guess it's the butterfly. I'm not a swimmer. As much as I do enjoy the water, I'm not a trained swimmer, I should say. So we're inhaling and exhaling, making some big sweeping motions with our shoulder joints. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. Do a couple more. Big breath in and big breath out. Good. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. 1 more time. Big breath in. Open the chest. Exhale. Bring those elbows forward. Slouch. We're going to switch directions now. So inhale. Bring the elbows up and around and exhale back. So just like that. Nice and slow. Inhale up and back. Exhale. Good. Inhale up and back. And exhale. Good. Do 2 more. Big inhale up and back. Open the chest and the shoulders. Exhale. 1 more time. Big breath in, up, and exhale back. Good. Take your hands down to the sides. All right, so we went through the neck, the shoulders. All right, and now let's just warm up a little bit the arms and the joints here in the arms, okay? So we're going to take our hand out either in front of us or out to the side. That's up to you. Right, and all we're going to do is make big sweeping circles with that wrist joint. Right, try to be active with your fingers here, not too passive, so that we're asking all of the connective tissue to be involved here. Right, so just nice sweeping circles, and then we'll switch directions. Okay, we use our hands a lot, right, so there might not be too much immobility here in our wrists. We may feel a little tightness, a little stiffness if we are confined to a keyboard a lot. All right, so just these sweeping motions can be nice to alleviate some of that stickiness, especially when we encourage the hand to be a little active. All right, switch hands. So take your other hand out in front of you. Just make big sweeping circles. Just be mindful of what's going on here, right? So just like I mentioned at the beginning, being aware of our breath, right? We bring that awareness into our bodies as we're aware of what we are doing. Just seeing how far can our joints move. And again, no comparisons between yourself and myself or others if you are practicing with others. Right? Just do the best that you can. Right? Be happy with yourself. All right, good. So just a few more. All right, just try some other movements if you'd like to. Okay, now we will work into the forearms and the wrists here. You're going to take your hand out in front of you, turn to the side so it's a better angle. We're going to have our hand out in front of us. Take your other hand and just lightly take the fingers and just gently pull those fingers back towards your elbow, towards your shoulder. And you are pushing that arm straight. So we're pushing that wrist forwards. Okay? All right, just allow that to be a nice stretch for a few breaths. Inhale and exhale. And then we're going to switch directions, right? So now the fingertips will go down. Use your hands, hold the fingers, and pull that back, right? We're pushing the wrist forward. You can see that I'm pushing the arm, right, as we try to curl those fingers under. So we're getting a nice stretch along the top and underside of our forearms when we do this. All right, so try that a couple of times, breathing nice and slow, pushing the arm straight, and then we can switch sides, all right? So opposite arm, opposite hand, we're going to be pulling those fingers back, pushing the heel of the hand forward. Nice long straight arm, very active here. Good. And then we can come down after a couple of breaths. Switching. And then of course if you want to take a couple of moments to do a little flip-flop, a little bit more active, feel free to do that. Okay, something else that's fun to do for the wrists and a little bit of the elbows. We're going to take our hands out in front of us. You're going to cross one wrist over the other, and then bring our palms together, interlace your fingers. All right, so I'm taking my right arm over the left. We're going to bring our palms together, and now bending the elbows out to the sides, pull your knuckles underneath to the chest, and then up. All right, so just back and forth like this. All right, and then we will switch the left wrist on top, just so that there's a different sensation there. Again, always trying to do each movement the opposite way so that we have, that balance. So we're going to take left over right now, Bring the palms together, interlace those fingers. Try your best to bring the knuckles in and through. Good. So threading the arms, threading the hands. Nice little mobility for the elbows and the wrists. Awesome, good. Okay, so gently shake it out, shrug the shoulders a little bit, and now we are going to make our way onto the floor on hands and knees in our tabletop position. So if you are seated in a chair, you can do this still seated. Standing, you can also do this as well. And I'll just demonstrate that standing since I don't have a chair here in the room. All right, so if you were to be sitting in a chair, you just put your hands on your knees and do what we call the cat-cow movement. Now standing, I'll step back so you can see. All right, you just have your hands on your knees, and we're going to inhale and exhale, making some flexion and extension in our spine. All right, but on the mat, we're going to put our knees down. Place your hands right underneath your shoulders so that you do look like a tabletop from the side. Should look something like this. You want a nice flat back. All right, and then mobility for our spine. You're going to try to lift the tailbone up. So you can see right here, I'm lifting the tailbone up. My midsection is dropping down, and we're rolling those shoulders back. Nice arc in our spine. We call the cow back. Now as you exhale, push the shoulders forward, tuck the tailbone, and round your spine. Bring chin to chest. Our scared cat back. So inhaling, coming into cow. Exhaling, coming into cat. All right, do that a couple more times, maybe 5 to 10 times is a nice, set 5 times. If you don't have, a lot of available time. If you've got the time for it though, maybe try 10 repetitions just to encourage that mobility here in our spine. Good, exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good, do 2 more. Big breath in and big breath out. Last time, big inhale and a big exhale. Good, okay, so we are going to stay here on hands and knees. We're going to work into some mobility with our hip. All right, so since I'm here facing this side, I'm going to take this leg out to the side, and you're more than welcome to be, whichever side you'd like. But we're going to take my left leg out to the side, keeping that foot down. I don't have the toes up, I have the foot down, and all I'm going to do is rock forwards and backwards. So moving forwards and backwards, we should feel the inside of this hip getting a little bit of a stretch, right? So almost like you're trying to come back into child's pose with the leg out to the side. So forwards and backwards, working into that hip. All right. So after you've gotten a little bit of movement, you feel a little warmth there, a little stretch there, we are going to continue working into this left leg, right? Return to your tabletop position, all right? Keeping your left heel, left foot active, we're going to just extend the leg, right? So that the thigh is still parallel to the floor, and you can see my foot is almost like it's stepping on the ceiling. Right? We're going to make big circles with this left leg. So turn your knee out to the side and try to bring that knee up to the shoulder and then back down. Without coming into tabletop, we're going to make big sweeping circles. All right? Now what's key here is keeping yourself nice and firm with your upper body, right? We don't want to be swaying side to side as we're doing this, because the point is focusing just on that joint. All right, so try to keep your upper body nice and still as you make these big sweeping circular motions with that left thigh. All right, so if we go in one direction, we're going to go in the other direction. So after a few passes, go ahead and switch. Good. Good, yes. Awesome, yeah. So you're going to start to feel warmth in that glute there. Good. Oh yeah, feels nice and warm. Don't forget to breathe. Awesome. After a few circles, right, you can come back into your tabletop, rock the hips side to side. You're going to feel difference between this left side and this right side. So just a sway side to side will help you feel good. All right, let's switch now, right? So we're going to switch to this side. Take the right leg out to the side here and just going forwards and backwards, getting into this right hip. Good. Awesome. So after a few passes, rocking forwards and backwards, again, we're going to start to feel that stretch here in the inner groin area, right where the thigh connects to the hip. All right, and then we can move into our circles. So take that right knee back into your tabletop. Right, we're going to keep the foot flexed. We're going to push that heel straight into the air, trying to keep that right thigh parallel to the floor. To begin with, turn the knee out to the side, and then make those big sweeping circles. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale. And exhale. And then again, we're trying to keep this upper body nice and still, so it's just the right hip joint that we're asking to move. Good. After a few passes, we'll switch directions. So now bring the knee forwards, up and over. All right, if you're on your left leg, that's okay, right? It's no big deal. We do the motions on each side. We're not creating imbalance in our mobility session here. Good. Nice, slow, rhythmic breathing to help our body stay in that relaxation response. All right, so feeling that warmth there, feeling the blood flow. Might get a little sore, so when you're ready, come right back into your tabletop. Rock the hips gently side to side. All right, and then we're going to do a pose called child's pose, and I mentioned that earlier when we had our leg out, rocking back and forth like you're rocking to child's pose. So child's pose, if you're not familiar with it, you're going to move your knees just a little bit wider than your hips. You can't see back here, but your big toes are together, and then let your hips come down to your heels. Bring your hands forwards and just a gentle rock side to side, again to open up the hips and the lower back. Good. If you feel okay, you can put your forehead on the floor, just relaxing. All right, good. After a few breaths, slowly make your way back up into a tabletop, and then sit over to your side and bring your legs right out in front of you. All right, so I'm going to use my hands behind me to support my body, just so that I can have my feet out in front of me. All right, so all we're going to do is point our toes and bring the toes back towards the knees. So just a little flexion and extension with the feet. Just a few times, right, encouraging that mobility in ankles, and then we're going to make some big circles with those ankles. And you might hear that popping and cracking. Right, all the connections there, just kind of going over the bony surfaces, and just like rubber band, when you tighten a rubber band and then you flick it, it makes a little sound, right? We have those connective tissues that are just sliding across other hard surfaces and kind of making those sounds. Doesn't mean anything necessarily is wrong, but if you do experience any discomfort or pain, be sure to talk to your health provider. All right, so switching directions, you may not have saw that, but we're switching the directions of our circles. Good. Awesome. So just do a few more. All right, and then we're going to work into our knees. All right, so we have the kneecaps, the patellas. We're going to use our fingertips and just cup over those patellas and massage gently the kneecaps. So just do some light circles here with our knees. All right. And then we will work a little bit more into our ankles and then our hips. So you can stay seated like this with your legs out in front of you. If that doesn't feel okay, you can always bring one leg in to just sit more onto that hip. But we're going to reach down and grab our shin just above the ankle so that our ankle is free. So hold above the ankle and just shake out your ankle a little bit. Get it nice and loose. Good. Try to let it flop around. Good. Just a couple shakes, and then we're going to switch. All right, so we're going to grab the opposite ankle, and then holding above the ankle, just shaking that out. Good. Getting some looseness there. Seeing if we can mentally relax. Okay, so after some shakes there, we're going to move into our hips. All right, so you will take your legs out in front of you. If you need to sit into a chair, that you can also do this seated. You're just going to take one ankle, cross it over the knee, and sitting up nice and tall, keep the foot and ankle active as you use your hands just to lightly press up and down. So we're kind of like a lever, pushing up and down to ask the inside of this hip to loosen up. Right, and that'll be very complementary to what we were doing as we made those circles with our legs. All right, so just some up and down movements, getting that mobility here on the inside of the hip. All right, and then we'll switch sides. So when you're ready, gently extend that leg or bring it down to the floor. All right, we'll take the opposite ankle, cross it over, keep the foot active, try to sit up tall. Use your hands to push that knee up and down, getting that mobility in the opposite hip. And always breathing, staying aware of our breath, inhaling and exhaling. Good, okay. So after up and down with that, now we're going to come into what we call the, I guess in the physical education classes that we took when we were kids, we called it the butterfly stretch or butterfly pose. In the yoga class, we would call this the bound angle pose. All right, this will be a little harder to do seated, so I would recommend trying to do this on the floor. All right, so we're going to stay seated. We're going to place the soles of the feet together. All right, keeping those knees open. Use your hands, interlace the fingers. Go ahead and hold on to the feet and just bounce the knees up and down. All right, so that's exactly what we were doing with one leg, right, out in front of us when we bounce the knee up and down with our hands. We're just doing that now with the power of our muscles. And then we will come into a stretch now. So allow your legs to relax, still holding onto the feet. Take a big breath in, roll the shoulders back, and we're going to exhale and lean forward. Use your elbows to press those knees down into the floor. All right, now in this pose, depending on how we feel in our hips and our back, right, there might be a lot of tightness there. It might be really hard to come on down. There's going to be some rounding in the spine. So try your best to flatten out your back. All right, so instead of coming down and rounding your spine, instead inhale, keep those shoulders back, and then use your arms to help pull that abdomen towards your feet. All right, now in the pose, you can try doing cat-cow. You can inhale, try to open the chest more, and then exhale, slouch, bring chin to chest. And as you do this, if you'd like to try, you're going to notice a difference in your hips and your lower back. So give that a try. Exhaling, slouching, inhaling, opening the chest. Good. All right, do two more. Big breath in, and big breath out. Last time, inhale, shoulders roll back, and exhale, round the spine. Okay, sit up nice and tall. We're going to work into our hamstrings now. So keeping your feet together, we're going to take one foot out to the side. So I'm going to extend my right leg here. Okay, so we should look like this. Okay, so try to keep that knee down. We're going to turn and face our opposite leg. All right, so the one that's bent. Now use your opposite arm. So this is my right side extended. I'm going to use my right hand to put on top of my left knee here. All right, now take your left arm. As you inhale, reach it up overhead. Try to stay open to this left side. As you exhale, reach over the body. Almost if you could imagine a line coming from those right toes, you're trying to touch that line. So we'll get a stretch here on the left side of our body as well as a little bit here on the inside of our right thigh and behind that hamstring. Good. Take two more breaths. Inhaling, creating length. Exhaling, surrendering. Inhaling, length. Exhale, surrender. Good. As you inhale, come back up and just straighten out that right leg, and we're going to fold forward over that. So use your hands on the mat, and as you exhale, just gently bow. Right? So some of us might have some tension here, and the knee is lifted. That's okay. Just allow yourself to come down, and then with the power of your leg, try to get that knee down just a little bit. Right? We don't want to feel any burning sensation, pinching, heat as we're doing any stretch. That could indicate that we're going a little bit too far. Right? Because stretching, mobility, we want to make it a mind-body practice. We want to be aware of what's happening. So be aware in all of these poses and all of the movements. Good. Take one last exhale. We're going to slowly come back on up and switch sides. So take your left leg out to the side. Bring your right foot in. We're going to turn and face that right knee. Left hand will be on top of the right knee. Inhale the right arm up, and as you exhale, reach over the body. Good, reaching over here. Right, so it might be hard for you to hold on to that knee, and it's okay if you need to keep your left hand out in front of you, but we're just trying to keep the chest open to this right side. Good, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Good, let's take one more big breath in. And out. As we inhale, slowly come back on up. Good. Straighten that left leg out a little bit. And we're going to exhale and fold over the leg. Good. You can reach your hands and touch the toes if that's accessible to you. Right? If you're using a yoga mat, like I have one out here in front of me, if it's hard for you to touch the toes or the ankle, you can also curl up the sides of the mat and use that as a little bit of leverage to help pull yourself down, if that's your intention. But again, we're not trying to overdo any of the stretches. It's not a competition. So breathe, inhale, and exhale. Good, take one more big breath in, and exhale, relax. Good, as you inhale, slowly come back on up. Okay. All right, make your way just gently into a seated position, and we're going to finish with a brief breath awareness, just like we started. All right, so again, you can be standing in a chair or on the floor for this, but just allow your eyes to close. Check in with your breath, observing the nose, observing the mouth. All right, we're going to start to control the breath a little bit. So choose your next inhale and choose your next exhale. And as you breathe in, count to the number 4. So inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Breathe in again. Count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. Count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Take a natural inhale, just a big breath in. And then let yourself sigh here. So exhale, go, ah. Bring the chin to the chest. Shrug your shoulders. Shake the head and the neck. Slowly open your eyes and enjoy the rest of your wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining our little mobility session. Feel free to check out our other classes that we have on the schedule, or revisit this mobility video for you at your convenience. All right. Again, thank you so very much. Namaste, friends. Have a wonderful day.